English speaking confidence, the power of breath. When I look back at my journey of learning English, I realize something very surprising. The words, the grammar, and the vocabulary were never my real problem. My real challenge was not outside, it was inside. It was the way my chest tightened whenever I had to speak, the way my breath disappeared whenever someone looked at me and waited for me to say something. I thought I lacked the right words, but in truth, I lacked control over the very thing that carried those words, my breath. And it took me years to discover that one simple truth. If you can control your breathing, you can control your confidence. This is the story of how I learned to use my breath, not just to survive conversations, but to transform my entire English-speaking journey. I remember one afternoon in school when my teacher asked me to read a passage in English. My palms were sweating, my throat felt dry, and my heart was racing. I stood up, the book shaking in my hands, and as soon as I opened my mouth, everything rushed out too fast. The words were broken, my voice trembled, and before I even reached the second line, I ran out of air. My classmates giggled. My teacher gave me a kind smile, but deep down I felt crushed. I told myself, English is too hard for me. I'll never speak fluently. That day, I didn't just struggle with a language. I struggled with my own breath, with my own fear. Years later, the same thing happened in a job interview. The interviewer asked me a simple question. Tell me about yourself. I knew the answer. I had practiced the answer. But the moment I started speaking, my chest tightened again. I spoke too quickly, stumbled over my words, and forgot to breathe. By the end, I was gasping, my face was hot, and my confidence was gone. Needless to say, I didn't get the job. I walked out of that room thinking, I am not good enough. Maybe I am just not meant to speak English confidently. But life has a way of teaching you lessons when you're ready. One day, while watching a motivational talk, I noticed something powerful. The speaker didn't rush. He didn't try to throw out as many words as possible. Instead, he paused. He took deep breaths. His words were steady, like waves in the ocean, calm yet powerful. And something clicked inside me. I realized it wasn't only his vocabulary that made him inspiring, it was his breath. That was the first time I thought, maybe my breath is the key I've been missing all along. From that moment, I began experimenting. Before speaking in English, I would close my eyes and take one slow, deep breath. Just one. And suddenly, my voice felt less shaky. I didn't rush my words. I started to feel the rhythm of my sentences. For the first time, I felt a small sense of control. And with each day, that control grew stronger. Breath, something I had ignored all my life, became my secret power. I later learned why this worked. When we get nervous, our body goes into fight or flight mode. Our breathing becomes shallow and fast. Our heart pounds and our brain starts panicking. That's why so many learners say, I forget everything when I speak English. It's not that you forget, it's that your brain is starved of calm oxygen because your breath is out of control. By taking deep, steady breaths, you tell your brain, it's okay. I'm safe. I can do this. Your body relaxes, your voice steadies, and your words finally have the space to flow. Think of your breath as the fuel for your voice. Without fuel, even the best car cannot move. Without breath, even the best vocabulary cannot shine. And this is something leaders, actors, and great speakers have always known. They practice breathing to control their voice, to project power, and to connect with people. The good news is, you and I can practice the same. I began adding small breathing habits into my daily routine. In the morning, instead of just scrolling through my phone, I sat quietly and practiced breathing deeply for 5 minutes. Inhale slowly through the nose, hold for 2 seconds, exhale through the mouth. I would do this 3 or 4 times. Then, I would say one English sentence with that calm breath. Simple sentences like, today is going to be a good day, or I am learning and growing every day. This not only improved my English speaking rhythm, but also boosted my confidence for the day. During the day, I practiced pause breathing when speaking. For example, if someone asked me a question in English, I trained myself not to answer immediately in panic. Instead, I inhaled, paused, and then spoke slowly. Just this tiny pause made me sound more confident and gave me time to think. I realized that the best speakers are not the fastest, they are the clearest. At night, I practiced shadowing. I picked a short clip of a native English speaker, listened carefully and repeated their words, matching their tone and breathing. This practice taught me natural pauses and rhythm. It wasn't about copying their accent perfectly. It was about breathing with their voice, learning the flow. And over time, my English stopped sounding robotic and started sounding alive. The more I practiced, the more I noticed changes in real life. In one group discussion at work, I raised my hand to share my idea. Normally, I would avoid speaking because of nerves. But this time I remembered to breathe. I took a deep inhale and spoke calmly. My sentences were clear, my tone was steady, and to my surprise, people nodded. They actually listened. That moment gave me a rush of confidence I will never forget. I realized that breath had not only changed my English, it had changed the way people saw me. Later, I was invited to give a short presentation. Standing in front of people usually terrified me, but this time I had my secret tool. Before starting, I took one deep breath, smiled, and began. My voice carried across the room. I paused between points. I didn't rush. For the first time, I enjoyed speaking instead of fearing it. That day, I understood something very powerful. Fluency is not just about knowing English, it's about controlling yourself. And breath is the bridge between fear and fluency. Breath taught me patience. Breath taught me clarity. Breath taught me that I don't need to be perfect, I just need to be present. And slowly, opportunities opened up. I started making new friends who spoke English. I felt more confident in interviews. I even joined online communities where I could share my thoughts without fear. My English didn't become perfect overnight, but my confidence grew every single day. Looking back, I see a clear transformation. The person who once ran out of breath while reading a line in class is now someone who can speak to strangers, give presentations, and record podcasts in English. And all of it began with one simple thing, breath. So here is my message to you. If you are struggling with English speaking confidence, don't only focus on vocabulary lists or grammar books. Yes, they are important, but without breath, your words will remain trapped inside you. Practice breathing. Before you speak, pause. Inhale slowly. Exhale gently. Let your breath carry your words like music. The difference will amaze you. Remember, every time you take a breath before speaking, you're telling yourself, I am in control. I am confident. I can do this. And the more you practice, the more your brain and body will believe it. Confidence is not magic, it is a habit. And breath is the foundation of that habit. Today, English has given me doors to new opportunities, friendships, and experiences. But the real gift was not just the language, it was the confidence that came from mastering my breath. Because once you learn to breathe with calmness, you can face anything. So the next time you feel nervous, the next time your chest tightens, the next time your voice shakes, remember this. Don't rush, don't panic. Just pause, breathe, speak, and shine. Because your words matter, your voice matters. And with every calm breath, you're not just learning English, you're learning to believe in yourself. And that is the true power of breath.